In this video, let's take a look at the KeyTrack Plus, what it is and how you can use it. So the KeyTrack Plus is a modulator that transfers the curves from note inputs. Now, let me show you what that means. So first off here, I've got a polysynth instrument here set up like this. It's got an arpeggiator in the beginning that's transposing a chord that I've got. So if you look here, I've got quite a big chord. It's going all the way from C1 to B3, but it's actually just some extended notes that's playing out a C major 7 triad. I'll show you now in a second why I've got such a big range, but that's just so you know what's happening. So this is going into the polysynth, and then after that, I've got a delay, and it sounds like this. Now, on the polysynth, I just need to open up the section here so I can see where I can add the modulators. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to search for the KeyTrack. So here's the KeyTrack Plus. I'm going to add it. And what you got here is a grid that is going from the most bottom corner all the way to the top right. Now, if I hit C3 on my keyboard, you can see it's triggering the center over here on this graph. Now, if I go lower, it's playing low down here, and if I go lower, it's playing low in the grid. And then if I go higher and higher, it's going up this grid. So basically what it means is your note input comes into this modulator and it determines what the note is or the pitch is, and then it either pushes it down on the scale or up on the scale. And the center here being C3. So for example, if I hover all the way at the top, that's C8, and over here is C-2. Now, what I want to do is I want to modulate something on the synth so you can see how this is working. And a good example is to modulate the cutoff filter. So I'm just going to modulate that and increase it up. So if I play C3, the filter's there, but if I go up, it's opening up the filter. And if I go lower, it's cutting off the filter. Now you're going to see this more in action here when I play this polysynth that has an arpeggiator that is running through all these notes. So let's just go here, let's play back, open up this view, and you can see what's happening. So with the arpeggiation, this is using an up-down motion, but predominantly up. So as you can see, the low notes start here where the filter is down, and then as it goes up, it opens up that filter. I can change that filter amount. Let me pull it over here. You'll notice more clearly. Those low notes, the filter is closed, and as you go higher, it opens up. I can pull that filter even higher up, and I'll open them up. I could take the graph and switch it around, making the lowest notes with the filter more open, and then the highest notes it's cutting off. Take a listen. And obviously, you can go in here and draw in the curve shapes. So I can make this view bigger and use my tools. And maybe I don't want something so logarithmic. I can actually draw in a different shape. And that's just going to trigger things a bit differently depending on how you've got it. Let's add a bit of noise in here. And maybe I want to modulate that noise as well. So as it goes up higher, I'm going to modulate the noise. Pull that down a bit. And also modulate the resonance. So maybe before doing that, I'm just going to pull this down, add the modulation, and increase that resonance. So we've got 3 parameters now that are being modulated. We've got the filter frequency, the noise, and the resonance, and they're being modulated by this KeyTrack curve over here. And it's taking the note input data that's coming into it, determining where it is on this curve, and then modulating the parameters accordingly to what notes are being played. And hearing it now with a beat. Open up that filter a bit more. So that is how the KeyTrack Plus works. As you can see, it takes note input data that comes into it. It adjusts it with this curve depending on what your pitch note data is, and then it adds this to the modulated parameters that you got set up in your chain.